Hi Sreetam, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. So it will just be a casual conversation. So we'll talk about the Australian markets, the life of international students. So to start with, if you have to describe your Australian journey in 3 words, so how will you describe it?
Describing a journey in 3 words will be very difficult, but I would say first is uh, a shock, second is reality check, and third would be being stubborn.
Why did you say shock? Like the word shock?
Shock is I come from India, so the culture over there is different to what exists over here. And by culture, I say the way we exist day to day in our life. So we have different systems over there. When I say systems, it's like I'm talking about the school systems or finding job system, and it's very different over here. So that was the first shock in how the market works over here.
Mm-hmm.
So as a student, what's our first goal? To do studies, complete
Correct.
education. But while doing that, I had to sustain my lifestyle because my parents, although they supported me in like funding through the college and getting my loans and everything, but the daily life expenses had to be bared by me. So when I went out and started looking for work, then I found like there is a specific season or time around which the job listings open, and those are for casual jobs or part-time jobs, and for professional jobs you have to go and network.
What do you do as a data scientist at Australian University? What's your work experience?
A data scientist at RMIT, so I work within the research squad. So the analytical work is more in line to support the ongoing people who are conducting research or pursuing their coursework for towards a PhD. So that's what we are doing currently in the current space that I'm working.
Okay, so what's your day-to-day look like?
So day-to-day activities would be defined by what our business partners tell us. So usually, talking from a university point of view, so a lot of work is not yet modeling or AI. So it's more of analytics which the users require. So there are platforms like Cyval, there are platforms which show how a research work is being cited, being used by other countries, other people, so what kind of collaborations are happening.
Okay.
So that is very crucial to a researcher's profile.
Mm-hmm.
So what they would do based on that, they receive all their grants or funding. Our request should be more in like, okay, I need reportings which would identify the field of research codes.
Mm-hmm.
I need a model which would kind of classify different field of research codes based on a research title.
Mm-hmm.
So if anything and everything that is related to those kind of works would come as a business request to us based on what our customer is asking us. Basically a problem statement or a Jira tickets are defined, and then we start working on that. So it might be reporting, just a Power BI reporting. A Power BI reporting might be simple thing, but it can be complex if you are including a lot of DAX measures within that. If you are doing a lot of transformations in the applied steps. If I'm not working on Power BI, then we haven't. Our data engineering team has set up has a tech stack which revolves with AWS followed by Snowflake and strengthened by DBT, and then we can integrate that into Power BI or any other integrations. Okay. And Python scripts are part and parcel.
The question is like, how much time did it take you to find a professional job in the market?
Yeah. So after my university completed in 2020, I left actually my part-time job or casual job there, and that was due to a health reason. Mm-hmm. But I really wanted to break into the industry because I had left a life back in India, and I wanted to go into the analytics field for which I had studied. Okay. So at first I never got any opportunity. I kept applying, let's say 200, 300 companies in a span of 2-3 months, but none of them got back to me, not even one interview. So what kept me motivated is I saw a lot of my friends getting jobs. Mm-hmm. So I kept asking them like, what's working out for you? What is not working out for them? Every one of them mentioned do an internship. Okay. But the sad reality is a lot of internships are free, they don't pay you, or rather they ask money from you to work and do an internship. I wouldn't say it's right, wrong, good or bad, but the market over here at least opens up opportunity if you have any kind of local work experience.
Okay.
So for a very long time I didn't do an internship because it was not paid. I didn't want to do unpaid work because I needed money, or else I would have kept doing the odd work, like casual job, and I would have continued earning in that ways. So I never wanted to accept that, but it was like around 8th or 9th or 10th month. All my savings were depleted, and it was really that phase of time where I thought, like, if it's not now, it's never.
Okay.
So during that time, I kept on doing my GitHub projects, and it took me 8, 9, 10 months. One interview came. Like, the funny part is I got a job offer in my very first day of my job search. That was in the first month itself. But they were making me sign a contract for 2 years, and that was for an amount which I was not happy with. So I didn't want to limit myself. So I left that, and it was again after 10 months that I got the second job. And I was happy with the amount that I was getting. It took a month's process of interview, and there were like technical rounds, but eventually I got a job in 10 months.
Okay, like you are talking about the RMIT job that you are doing.
No, that's my second job.
Okay.
So I had my first job. I used to work for Snowy Hydro as client, as a data analyst cum engineer.
Okay.
So the profile was not defined, but in data engineering part, I had to do the data modeling, getting the data into Snowflake, and as an analyst, I had to do the analytical work in Power BI reporting. So role was not defined, but after doing the job, you kind of get to know that you're working two profiles for the same one. But it was my first work, so I gave. That was a very good learning experience.
What's the process that you followed while looking for the job, like tailoring your resumes or networking, or like what's the kind of the process?
For me, I would say LinkedIn worked out for me.
Okay.
That's my truth. I don't want to say that LinkedIn is the only source, because my friends have got jobs via networking, by their previous work experience. But I found myself both the jobs via LinkedIn.
Okay.
So LinkedIn helped me in everything that you have mentioned.
Yeah, right.
So my resumes are shaped by my previous work experience, which I've already added within LinkedIn. And whenever I apply for a job, I get to see the roles and responsibilities. So I had two of my documents. One was my CV or resume and cover letter, always handy on my Google Drive.
Okay.
So for me, it was about, I had done a defined work. Now, even if I'm making changes to the roles and responsibilities, it is identifying what things are common in my work that I have done and what they are seeking from a candidate. So that's the changes we make in a resume.
Correct.
So I needed that process to be a bit fast. So that's why I always had my resumes tailored, my cover letter tailored with respect to roles and responsibilities. That is one part of the story. The second part of the story is that may get you towards a recruitment process. Like there are 200, 300, 126 like applicants applying for a job, and it's not processed. And all of us know, like what we call there is a tool that they use to kind of filter out what I forgot the name, but yeah, there's a tool which recruiters use to filter out candidates, and it's a like game of probability, like ifs and buts, if your profile gets selected. The second thing which I always did, I always reached out to few people from the company, not many, just few. So first idea was see who has posted the job. Is it a recruiter? Or see who has commented. Is it a manager over there? So I'll reach out to the recruiter. I'll reach out to the manager saying that, hey, I'm Sreetam. I'm from so and so background. I'm really interested in this. I have already applied on the job. Keen to talk about it. So I gave them an idea that I was interested to talk about it, and that is quite nice, because in many of the interviews, before even attending the interview, when I spoke about I want to talk about it, some people, they really opened up about the roles and responsibilities, their day-to-day tasks. That helped me in better preparing myself for the interview. Like first part would always be a technical challenge. Let's say you're past that. Now comes the part where they want to see, well, how do you relate. Now those kind of conversations were already implemented for me because I had engaged in LinkedIn. So engagement was very crucial for me. The more I did it, the more I did this part, the more I applied, the more I engaged, I got a pool of responses from the recruiter. Let's say 10 people reached out to me, 20 people reached out to me. Now after having experience, I feel, and because of the market situations, recruiters, they reach out frequently and very oftenly. So I'm happy with the current roles and responsibilities. So now when I see and look back what worked out, then that was primarily tailoring your resumes, that one has to do, understanding the role, understanding that you can do some part of it, not even entirely. And third part is like engagement, reach out, and that worked for me. That can be in some other ways can be conveyed as like networking, but that did it via LinkedIn.
Okay.
And till now it has worked. So if in future I feel I have built good relationships with my peers or my industry people, I can always reach out to them professionally and I can go from them without even applying via LinkedIn or other platforms.
That's good, yeah. From coming to the jobs, I'll ask about a part-time job because like I have done a lot of part-time jobs in old age centers and in unis and wherever I got. So like while studying, where did you used to do the part-time jobs?
So I used to work at Meyer. So that's a retail and fashion brand over here. That was my first work. I was really happy. I used to work in their operations, logistics, like all the backpacking things, taking out the stock. Spent a good amount of time over there, about 10 months or a year and so. And COVID was there in our situation, so it was not that jobs were in ample amount for us. We had limited hours, and I have worked for a few days in Uniqlo also, and that was a full-time role.
So Uniqlo is like a retail shop or?
That's also a retail shop, yeah. And I had worked in a bakery factory. Now that incident is very, very close to my heart. Although I worked for very few amount of time, there was this woman who used to own the place, and she would be like my mother's age. They also had their kids and children studying at universities. Some even did from Monash also. The amount of energy that she had, like I couldn't match up. So my story, why is it close to my heart is, if someone is doing what drives them, they just can't stop. Like age is just not the factor.
Age is just a number.
Yeah, that's true, because I saw because of that lady. And I worked at McDonald's. So yeah, I still continue working at McDonald's. So working at part-time jobs, yeah, that's how I would summarize. Like these were the few options that I had.
Then next is like, let's dive into your student life now. As I was also a student, I came here in 2019. So let's see like where we have started from nothing and where we have reached now. So like where did you study? Like where did you get your education and what did you study?
So I completed my education from Monash University and I did my master's in data science. So student life always, I feel it has been that kind of roller coaster ride because I didn't come from a technical background, but I had the intention to learn because I like marketing analytics. So student life was about going through the process of let's say understanding a lot of things which I never had understood before.
Okay.
So picking up different languages, and the course semesters are very fast paced. We have theory exams, we have assignments, and we have to deliver that in a timely fashion. I would say they are very time based in terms of real world professional situations also. So how would one deal with if they had no understanding of Python or R or Power BI or Tableau, any software? I named a few, but many softwares are there. But the assignments revolved around that. So student life taught me that thing, like it's going to be fast paced. I realized in the very first month of my life in Monash. The curriculum was very strict in terms of what they were delivering, and it was well articulated. So for me, catching up on everything was getting tougher with time. I wouldn't say easier, and that's my point of view. There are my peers or my friends who found it really easy because they had already experienced that field, working 5 or 6 years down the line. I was just starting to learn, and first year I had made a point that I would not focus on anything else. I rather spent learning and reading, and I would be on campus late 3 or 4, or that's early morning, and I would just sit there and understand and execute my assignment. And it may not be like 100% or 200% correct, but I would have it like reviewed. I would like ask my friends, like, I did this, am I wrong or right? I seek feedback. We cannot share our work, but when we ask questions and people get to see the process, and that's how I kept working late and or like till early in the morning, and I eventually delivered something which was more of an let's say a refined version of the work that I started.
Okay.
That's my student life. Like learning things which I had never experienced before. But eventually I had to graduate from there. So eventually figuring out a way how to tackle this thing. So that would be a summarized version of things, like learning and figuring out a way how to get on with this thing.
So why did you selected a Monash University for the data science course?
that I never came. If I say this, no, people might have a laugh at me. But people do come and select universities with a very articulated mindset. Like they know that they are coming to this university a year ahead. I had left my job in India, and I was there with my friends. I was not working during that time, and why Monash? I cannot say because it happened. But why data science? That I can definitely say. So I started working for. I started actually visiting two people who were in Bangalore, and they are established data professionals in our field. And if I may say their name, Akshay and Adarsh. So they're established in their field, and Akshay even received top 40 data science in India from Bangalore, and Adarsh has published his own NLP books. So they were teaching in Quora, and I happened to join them because I was interested to learn about marketing analytics. Slowly, we kind of connected and shared, and we got to see that they also liked my skill set which I had from sales. So eventually, I was working with them, trying to go to colleges, and we were trying to establish data science teaching and learning into colleges. So I assisted them in that process. In terms of figuring out initial things, because I was good at talking to people, and that's what sales taught me, eventually doing it. And that was my intention, that and none of us were getting paid. That was more of a startup, but I had eventually joined because I liked working with them. Like they were inspired to do something, and till date also I know that they both are doing quite well in their life. They have started their own company, and that was the enthusiasm I shared with them. That was the reason for me to choose a university first. So my intention was never about a country. I think it was more about trial and error, whichever I got first and later. And Monash happened because maybe at that point of time I liked out of all the colleges that I had acceptance into. And I saw that it was a good college with good background, what a student aspires. Going to a university after which they get that well education in terms of industry standards, so that when they are outside, they get to work with the peers who have already passed out from that university. And I would say in our internships, and I find a lot of people who have passed out from Monash, and they are actually our colleagues or peers, and that excites me. So that's what my university did for me. I get to connect with them because they are from Monash, I'm from Monash. That's the connection point. They might be doing something different, I might be doing something different, but at least we connected, started, exchanged conversations, and we moved on from there. So that's the story behind of why Monash.
What did you do in bachelor's? What did you study?
Bachelor's was mechanical engineering.
Okay. So it's like a flip from
It's
mechanical.
a complete, my whole journey has been it has never been consistent.
From mechanical to sales to data science.
Yes. And that even I till date don't know why is that, but the journey of a student life, be it undergraduate and masters, ends up in finding an opportunity where you want to earn money. That's you want to establish yourself financially in this life. So, and also progress professionally also. Professional journey is tied up with earning financially.
Sure.
So whatever opportunities came by, for me, work is the biggest thing. I don't think that any kind of work should be differentiated. So my journey of learning mechanical, I obviously wanted to work as a mechanical engineer, but those kind of opportunities were not accessible to me at that point of time. So I proceeded with the ones which I had, and when I proceeded with certain kind of work, and I figured out this is not working out for me, and then I proceeded with my interest, what I had that point in time. And when I did that part, now I'm conducting my work in that respective field. So my interests have driven my education and my profile.
Okay.
And I wouldn't say that I do know friends who have like computer science and they end up doing masters and PhD in that field. Maybe I'm odd one out of the bunch, but I feel like our interests drive us eventually if we are not interested in something, we'll not pursue that.
So, as a student, like what preparation did you do before coming to Australia? Because a lot of people, like myself, I have no idea like how to go, like what to prepare. So, what was your process like?
As I already had mentioned, that I was working with two people from the industry and getting to know about this field. That was my only preparation. So today when I suggest new students who come over here or like they get in touch to me via LinkedIn, I say like do a boot camp, understand this Python code, because those were the things I struggled with at first. So if I knew that, I would have also done that. But my preparation was just getting to know the field.
Okay.
That was my only preparation. I never came with any technical preparation into the field. I learned it as the time went by and the education journey went on. That was my preparation during that.
So did you like consult with someone, like for example any organizations who provide you, like who helps you in filling the application forms for the unis, or you done it by yourself?
No. So obviously I was there was someone I was in touch with, and they helped me get into colleges. But their consultations were not in line of what subject I want to choose.
Okay.
Their consultation was more in helping me file an application in college and getting selected in that. So that was a very generic assistance. So in terms of what subjects I choose, that was my choice. What preparations I needed, what gaps I had, like do I know Python or do I know maths, or that was all subjective to me. So they would not convey that.
Okay. And if I don't mind you asking about any of the financial loans that you took while coming here?
Yeah, I definitely took a loan. So it was around 30 lakhs.
Okay.
That would be around 60k and
in dollars?
60k in dollars,
Okay.
in Australian dollars. So yeah, that was my loan which I had taken like during that point in time.
Okay.
I hope like that's the amount
That's
of
your-
course fees
okay.
we had to pay out eventually.
And
And my dad also had supported by paying for the first semester.
Okay.
So like
And-
few from family, few from loan.
And continuing to that question, like how much time it takes to repay the loan? Like for example, the 60,000 is a large amount.
Yeah.
So how much time it takes you to repay the loan?
I did it in a year and five
Okay.
months. But that question is up to an individual.
Okay.
And up to an individual, when I say an individual, if they find work right when they are in their end semester of a job, it really makes a differentiation.
Okay.
I found my job after 10 months. So I was 10 months behind.
After graduating.
After graduating. So after completing my masters, it was like 10 months after finding my professional work. So if someone finds work well ahead within that time, then the next point is what amount their loan is and what are they earning.
Okay.
So let's say if someone is earning a 6-figure salary and someone is not earning in 6-figure, so how much repayment they can do based on their lifestyle over here. The lifestyle is a big factor.
Correct.
Like I made a lot of compromising choices. I didn't make any good lifestyle choices. Like I never went out to let's say for vacations or trips, and I kept limited, like cooking at home or maybe sometimes eating out, not doing a lot of shopping. So living a basic life over here, and doing that for a year and 4-5 months, I was able to pay off my loan.
Okay.
So I have seen people who earn a lot more, but they do go out on vacations, they do take a lot of trips, they do make a lot of shopping purchases, and they do spend. So they want that lifestyle while they are paying off their loan. So they wouldn't be able to do that in year and so also.
Okay.
It will take longer for them.
Okay.
So the right answer would be, if someone wants to pay off a loan, it can be done in year also, depending on what kind of package you have as a remuneration. And if someone wants to like stretch it, that's also like stretching out happens. Everyone wants to have a lifestyle.
Correct.
So it's not that everyone is paying off loan in a year. But if you want, one can. Like professional job is one part of life. One can do part-time jobs also. So let's say professional job is let's say a 5-figure salary. You have some amount coming every month. You just go and do a part-time work. That might be very well paying enough, but every week 2-3 days adds up in a year very quickly. So if you do 2-3 days of part-time work in a week, in a month it would be like 3 into 4, 12 working days. So that's in addition to the work that you're already doing. So 12 working days, if in a year if we consider, that will be 144 working days. So like, just imagine that's the kind of money you can accumulate slowly and slowly. So that's what I feel. Yeah.
And the final question: if someone wants to walk the same path as you walked, so what suggestions would you like to give?
So same path as in like how I came from a
Like how
different
you
background.
came from different background and studied here and now working as a data scientist. So it's like a dream come true for someone with a different culture or a different, like, you're not studied the same subject, right, in your bachelor. So what can you suggest?
My advice or suggestion would come like as an individual. What's your idea about this field you're entering into? That's the most important question. Every other thing that I say would be part and parcel of your life. But if someone is really interested, try to first understand the field that you're getting into. Try to understand what currently you know about it, and that might be in terms of the theory or the technical aspects, or in the business things also you know about it, and in terms of skills also. Because the moment you come and pursue your studies, there is no looking back. Things will happen in timely manner. You have to either you do it or else you lag behind, and it keeps stretching. That's same in job also. So my suggestion is just spend some time to understand where I am heading on to. Universities, let's say in Australia, if you pick up the top universities, they would have a different curriculum to the ones who have just freshly started out. So that also makes a huge decision in terms of the education that you'll be receiving, because the exams would not be that way, the course curriculum would not be that way. So you might be more relaxed in certain universities, you might be stressed in certain universities. And by stress, I don't mean in terms of study stress, in terms of you going through those tasks, like how you handle that. So get to know the field. That's the best advice.
Okay.
Try reaching out to 4 or 5 people. Just reach out and talk to them casually. How do they feel? Let's see if they also have taken a very unconventional path like I have. And if you feel like you can do it, just go for it. Because the more we think, the more analytical, like analytics is very popular in our day-to-day life. But the more question we do towards simple decisions in life, the more we'll end up not doing that.
Correct.
So if one has a thought, if one is feeling like in today the world is progressing in this manner, like today the world feels like AI is already in our lives, we are already using it, so tomorrow is AI. I'm feeling that, like that a kid will also feel who has not been into this field. So if they have interest, so just go with it. Yeah, but interest will come along with the choices, with the difficulties, with your day-to-day life being stressed out, with you making part-time jobs or full-time jobs. So these things cannot be pictured when you're starting out.
Okay.
But at least do a bit of research into the country you're going in, the university that you're going to pick up. Talk to few people, do that. Maybe in university it can be just about what's the curriculum like, is it too much fast-paced or slow, whether I can cope up or not. And if you're talking to someone who's working, like, what's your journey been? And see if you feel like I have something but I don't have in a lot of it, still then I would say just go, because life is all about that.
That's correct.
We cannot stay, like at least I never stayed at the same place of sticking to one thing. Like as things come, we learn, and for me learning happens as I'm doing something of my own. So if I go and learn something which which is not part of my life, it will be more like an entertainment to me. I'll do it for 2 to 3 days and I'll leave it behind. But if it's part and parcel of my life, like how education, I took a loan, I came out, now it's part of my life. Now by hook or crook I have to make it work, otherwise you don't feel right about it. I wouldn't say like one can always drop out, but no one chooses to leave something. Everyone wants to make things work out. Right? That's the inherent nature of human. So yeah, make it a part of your life and then live the life after that.
That's a good
choices
answer.
come.
That's a good answer. Yeah, thank you, Sreetam, for your time.
Yep, thank
and I'll just post your like a LinkedIn handle or an Instagram handle, so
Yes.
that if someone wants to reach to you, they will reach back to you. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you, Anas. Thank you so much.